Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning into the COVID-19 lockdown account. Now, today I've got Helen with me. Helen is a busy mum and wife and works as a sign language interpreter over in Essex, back here in the UK. So, Helen, how are we at the moment?
We're okay, we're good. We're quite calm and collected today.
Very good, very good. And what is life looking like for you right now?
I think this week we're quite stable. We're okay. We're getting into our roles in lockdown. There's not been a lot of schooling going on today, I have to say.
No.
But yeah, I think we're all quite content where we are, and I think the thought of going out and getting back to normal life now is quite daunting, really. Even though it sounds like we're going to start to do that soon.
Yeah, I think, that has been something that I've been a little bit apprehensive about myself as well. I think where we've kind of been like an animal in captivity. When they end up releasing these
Yeah.
animals out into the wild and they kind of just sit in their basket and think, no, I'm okay, thanks. It takes them a little while
Yeah.
to come out. They kind of sniff around the edge for a bit. Yeah, it's a bit like me every morning if I have to go to the shop for anything. I think we're in for an interesting ride, and as much as people say it, it's not going to go back to normal anytime soon.
No. No, and I think we're probably staying still till the 30th of June anyway.
Yeah.
So people might be going out and doing wonderful things in wonderful shops, but I think we're in for a while yet anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And so tell us a little bit more about your profession right now, and I suppose sign language is something that can be done remotely because it's visual. So, and is,
Yeah, I think. Sorry, go on.
are you finding that technology is helping you right now?
Definitely. I think that some people are not working because maybe they were working in universities or colleges or schools, so they're not working.
Yeah.
Um, I'm fortunate in the way that I work that I do still have regular people that I see every week. So it's forced me to get a proper setup from home. And I think in the first instance, I didn't really appreciate that I needed to get a proper setup. And I also didn't realise I had this lovely room in my house that was totally unused, that has now become my beautiful office. It's fit for purpose, and actually makes us all really happy because it gives our house and all of our roles a much more clearer definition.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
sectioning that area off as well as that's my office. Everybody, that's my office. You can come in if you're invited, but you stay out if you're not. You need those ground rules, those house laws, which I very much need. Now, to be honest, mine are ignored, but they are needed. It's just crazy. And so tell me about what kind of things you are doing, I suppose, work wise at the moment.
yeah. So really, I work a lot with people that work out in the community, supporting people in the community, and so the lovely ladies that I work with make lots of phone calls to homes to check that people are okay, to GP surgeries, to hospitals. It's a lot of checking and tracing where people are at in the community at the moment and how they've been reintegrated from hospital into their homes or into care homes, that kind of thing. And so for me, really, it's being sat in my office on the laptop, doing lots of face-to-face meetings, working on the phone, and it's meant that often I've got one headset in one ear, a different headset in another ear, so I've got noise coming in this one from that person, and I've got noise coming in from the person on the phone, and they're signing to me on the laptop, and then I'm signing to the person on the laptop. So it's all been quite a challenge, but that said, having a proper setup has really, really helped. And I think that what's happened is because my daughter has got special needs, I've managed completely by fluke to decorate the office so that it suits her and it suits me, and it means that she can come in here and be calm and allow me to work. Yeah, so it's a win-win for everybody, really.
Hmm. Hmm. And tell us about your like your home setup, not your work setup, but like your home environment.
So we have a lovely little house. So I've got 2 feet just been placed on my desk there from the sofa. So we have a lovely little house. We have 3 dogs. There are 2 adults, 2 children, a lovely garden. My husband is a deputy head teacher, so he's currently set up from the table in the kitchen, and he's working furiously.
Mm.
Um, he's the person that's checking, cross-referencing all of the grades for all of the students that have been estimated to achieve all of their exam results. Yeah, so it's really important that I can take my daughter away in here with me, and then he can have that space out there, and my son can kind of be somewhere in between.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a very stressful time for your husband as well right now. It must be terrible having that burden put on you, and especially having a lot of kids or young adults as well that have got themselves to a point, and that opportunity to maybe do better than their previous results has kind of been taken away from them, from something that it's no one's fault. It's no one's
No, and it's the lack of closure as well, isn't it? Because even if you kind of feel that you did better or you did worse, it's the fact that you actually achieved it yourself. You put whatever you put into it, and it's that formal closure. My daughter's had her prom postponed. All of those things, the celebrations as well at the end of it, isn't it? It's a really tough time for the kids.
Mm. Yeah. And is there anything you're finding is really helping you at the moment when it comes to, I don't know, just helping with the kids at the moment?
Well, I think it's really important to keep them calm. First and foremost, I think if they're not calm, then you're not calm, and you can't have a functioning household anyway. Pressure doesn't work with either of my children, so it's really about asking my son when he wants to do his work, when it will suit him to do his work. And what we've done in the last few weeks is that we've said you can play, you can do stuff, but there is no electronics for you between 12 and 2. And at that point, you might watch a documentary, you might go out in the garden, you might do all of your homework in one sitting, but to have a really nice clear pathway in the middle of the day where he isn't trying to be on the Xbox or on the iPad all of the time. Yeah, and that just, I think they need some ground rules, definitely. Kids really appreciate that. My daughter is way less academic. She doesn't read, she doesn't write. But actually for her, it's really about falling into line and achieving tiny little small goals, making sure that we walk the dogs every day, making sure that she's responsible for throwing the ball for them and finding the ball for them and coming home and tidying up and behaving appropriately around meal times, and just really appreciating really tiny little wins with her. Yeah, but it's really important, and it really does work well for her.
No, I can imagine so. And I think that what you said there, when it comes to having structure with kids, or with humans, actually,
Yeah.
structure, scrap that. For humans alone, it makes all the difference, because it gives us a sense of clarity that we can adhere to, which
yeah, I can't imagine not waking up every morning at a set time, and I've got up at the same time every day. My daughter doesn't really let me have lay-ins anyway, but we've all got up, we all get dressed, we all get ready, we definitely walk the dog. Oh, in fact, we've all done no wicks. That has been one of the most saving grace. Has been amazing. He's brilliant. So we all do that. Well, my son and I particularly do that at 9 a.m. every day, and haven't missed one. And that's like the formal start to the day. And I mean, I've said about work with Clark, it would have looked different if my husband and I weren't working. We would have done different amounts of work at different times of day. But that, at least he definitely commits to being free from electronic devices between 12 and 2 is the most important part if we're both working.
Yeah, and I think having that thing as well, I mean, that's going to be something that your son's always going to remember, doing Joe Wicks with his mum,
Yeah,
that's lovely.
So proud to do it with him. And I can't imagine I can't imagine leaving him to do it on his own, because I just don't think that he would do it.
No, and it's nice to have that together, isn't it? It is. In fact, me and my daughter were getting up and riding her bike every morning. She's got a puncher, and she's only 5. She's got really good. She's nearly 6, and she's got really good. And we're going to go out today now.
Nice.
Only because my youngest daughter kept catching us, and and obviously my youngest daughter's 3. Just yesterday was 3. Obviously can't ride a bike. She's got a little balance bike that she can't quite get the hang of. But it was our little thing that we were doing, and I do a lot of things with Rosie as well. But it's nice. They're gonna remember that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's funny you should say that, actually, because my daughter has managed to nail her trike during this lockdown, and she gets so much pleasure from just cycling around the village, saying hello to everyone, dropping stuff off at my parents' house around the corner. Yeah, it's really important. And in fact, everybody in our village will remember that, because they see her on her bike and they're like, oh, look at the bike, Leia, hi. So that's really lovely.
That's amazing. That's so, you know, stuff like that is really the main positives that, you know, I'm seeing about this time is the stuff we wouldn't be able to do if this wasn't going on, right? I think anyway. Yeah. So what kind of things are you going to be looking to push forward? What kind of things have you learned that you want to take from this, and then that's your new normal?
Well, I think that fitness has always been a really important part of my week, and I think because of certain life changes, I was finding it harder and harder to build it into my week. But I think the children, having seen me do something fitness normally twice a day, I think that they will appreciate it a bit more and understand that I'm just doing that, and it's a really thing, but it's just kind of part of our daily structure now. And if they want to join in, they can. If not, they'll leave me alone. So fitness is a definite. I think I'll probably be able to work from home a bit more if I need to. And I think that the people that I work for will be more accepting of that. And actually, from what I'm hearing, a lot of people are set to work from home for quite a while still, kind of up to a year. They're not expecting some offices to be fully staffed. And I'm sure that's across the board, with people sort of going in at staggered times, shifts, you know, sort of shift, you might go in on a Monday and a Thursday, and that's it every week. But yeah, I have the ability to do that now, which is brilliant, and a really little safe zone that I can do that.
Yeah, I think that was one of the questions I was going to say, especially when it comes to doing what you do. Do you think that remotely that's going to be a more realistic option working forwards?
Well, I think it's always been there. The thing with sign language interpreting is that it's really important to have a human to human contact, because there's so much more that you read about people's body language, the way that they present themselves. That, just say you've got a doctor and a patient in a room, there are certain things that happen before that person goes into the room that I would normally be privy to. You're in the room, you might see a nurse come in, come out. There are lots of other cues and clues as to the dynamics of the situation when you're actually there. So it would never ever replace it fully, I don't think, and I certainly hope, and the profession would say that as well. But there is always a place for it, definitely, and it's actually really, really nice to have it there as a backup, because that's what it is, isn't it? If all else fails, we can definitely do this. You know, we can connect on laptops, we've got cameras, and from a course that I've just been on recently, to be able to do this just 10 years ago would have been too expensive and just totally impossible. But we do have different ways that we can do things now if we need to, which is a great option, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and I think you know, well, we've learnt a lot more as well. You know, I think we've come along 10, 15 years when it comes to the way that we communicate. We've got grandparents using Zoom that didn't even know how to use their phone properly. We've got you know, we've got kids that can FaceTime each other and hold their own conferences, if you like, at birthday parties, which is brilliant, you know. And I think that it's going to be the life skills that people have learned just technologically are amazing from this time. You know, there are going to be things that we're going to have to bring everyone up to speed on. You know, nothing's lost in my opinion. But yeah, the positives of technology through this time has been amazing, and you know, it couldn't have happened at a better time when it comes in terms of technology. As you said, 10 years ago, this, you know, this would have been a nightmare.
Yeah,
Only a BlackBerry. That would have been a nightmare. It just wouldn't have worked. No. So tell me a little bit about some of the things that you're doing as a family that is different to what you would be normally. You know, like, have you got any like games? Have you got any things that you've learned together? Are you trying to do anything new?
I think that we I mean, we connect at every mealtime, which is a first, really, because we're not normally in the house all at the same time most days. What are we doing as a family? Dog walking, time in the garden. I mean, just beautiful time in the garden. I think we've been so lucky with the weather. Again, it would have been a whole different ball game if this was the winter, and I hope and pray that there won't be a second wave, because this scenario in the winter is going to be, I mean, yeah, I just can't imagine. So fingers crossed for that. Yeah, just we're fortunate we've got a little lazy spa. It's just great. It's a saving grace. The kids are in and out of that non-stop. Yeah, I think it's just connecting around our house, and because we're trying so hard not to go out, we are doing fitness out of the house, but that's about all. It is, my daughter doesn't play structured games, that kind of thing, so it's just about enjoying each other's company, really.
Yeah. And were you guys in lockdown early, or were you locked down at the same time as everyone else?
I think maybe ever so slightly early.
Yeah.
So this for us is week 10, but I don't think that was particularly ahead from anyone else now. I think we may have gone in lockdown Friday and everybody else kind of went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that.
Yeah, I remember.
It's so long ago already now, though, isn't it?
I remember the announcement, yeah. Well, I had to shut my business, obviously, and I remember sitting on the floor with my team, and I had members of my team in tears and stuff, and I was like, guys, it's going to be okay. And I had a plan already in place, and I remember just thinking, wow, this is real, this is going to be and then coming out of this, who knows what this is going to be for the UK and economically and mentally. Though I think the people of the UK, we've got this. The people of the world, actually, I think we've got this. The kindness levels are up, unless you're a politician, of course. The ways that people are helping each other are great. I just think, the only struggle we've got coming through this next time is probably going to be economically, but there's always somewhere else you can earn a shilling, isn't there? So it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah, I agree. I think people are being super kind. We've got a lovely little vibe in the village, and it always has been, but yeah, it's certainly increased at the moment, and I really hope that all continues and that people continue to be kind and remember that you can be kind.
So have you been given any pearls of wisdom or any bits of advice that have really helped you through these times?
I think the smallest one that I was given, and it really, really resonates constantly when I'm in Zoom meetings and that kind of thing. The tiny little bit of advice was just to breathe. And it sounds ridiculous and pointless, but systems crash, people disappear, kids come running in and out. And it's not always your fault, it's not always your kids, it's not always your system. You just have to sit and breathe and just be like, we're all in this, it's absolutely fine. It might not be me that's at fault here, it might be them. I'll be kind to them when they come back, it doesn't matter. Just be calm and breathe.
There's the famous newsreader, isn't there, where his kids come tearing in the background. One of my favourite bits of TV in the world, and I think that they actually invited him and his little one in for a second follow-up meeting, because it was just so typically British how it all kind of happened. How he just kept a straight face and tried not to smile. But I think the truth is, if stuff like that happens, right, and say if it happened to you right now, I wouldn't care. Like, I wouldn't care. And we're only ever worried about what the other person thinks, right? And I wouldn't care. I'd feel like, I hope you're okay. But you'd have to be quite a damaged individual to be annoyed and angered by that, wouldn't you? You'd have to be
100%. 100%. So, I mean, I can share this with you, I guess. In my first days being set up here at home, I didn't know how my daughter was going to behave. And it was before I've redecorated my lovely calm room. And she would, all through the day, she basically trashed the room because she couldn't cope with the fact that I wasn't giving her all of my attention. She didn't know how things were going to play out. Whereas now she sat opposite me, very, very calm, absolutely no interruptions, absolutely fine. But at that time, she trashed the room, she'd broken my glass, and in that day, she had appeared, because I have a toilet and a shower room next to me, she'd appeared 5 times naked. She'd had a shower, and another shower, and another shower. And it is just about going, it's absolutely fine. I'm totally on camera here. I'm going to put your dressing gown on. No one's going to know that's happening. And she would just sit down again. An hour later, maybe another shower. And but it was just that day, and I just remained calm, didn't think it, just pretended like nothing was happening with her. And after that day, it's never happened again. At the end of that first day, it looked like my room was a crack bed. It looked awful. It had been trashed beyond all recognition.
Yeah.
So then I changed the colour of the walls, I changed all of the decor, and now it's a beautiful, beautiful, calm, safe space.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, no, it is true, and you know, you do just have to kind of breathe, I suppose, don't you? And I think that that's the only way of coping, because it's out of your control. It's out of your control. And yeah, no, we wouldn't care. I can't imagine there'd be anyone that everyone's going
No.
through something right now, and you know, the being kind thing is the main thing. So you know,
Mm.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, just breathe. The next thing as well. So I did warn you about this one. Is my final closing question, and that would be if you could travel back in time. So for you, it'd be 10 weeks, and grab yourself by the shoulder and say, Helen, okay, you've got to do this, or you've got to stop doing this, or you know, make time for this. What bit of advice would you give yourself?
I think maybe to order a webcam quicker before they're all sold out. It's a really silly thing, but I mean, obviously we all ordered the equipment. I got the laptop quickly, but that would have been really useful. But also just to, I think the panic at the start of all of this was that time would just go really, really slowly, and we didn't know how we would feel stuck in our houses. And just to know that time goes at the same pace. Each day goes, it all ticks along, and everything will be fine, I think.
Yeah, and I hear you. I very much hear you with that one, and I still can't believe for us. I think we're in week, yeah, must be week not 8, 9. I just can't believe how quickly it's gone through. It's just crazy. It's crazy. You know, we've been lucky enough. I've been lucky enough to be able to pivot some of the stuff I do online. I've managed to speak to now with 55, 54, 55. I'm pretty sure you're number 55 people about their experiences, and you know, managed to document this crazy time in history. And you know, it is madness how quickly time flies. And yeah, I suppose I am having fun at the same time. So yeah, it does fly.
Well done for doing it, yeah.
Look, Helen, thank you so much for everything. If there are any things that you'd like to share, any links or anything like that to help people going through stuff right now, please do send those over, and we'll put those in the show notes, okay? But for now, I'm going to wind down. You stay on, but I'm going to wind down and press the stop record button in a minute, and then we will have a quick chat afterwards as well. So thank you so much, guys and girls, for listening or watching, depending on what platform you decided to use today. If you have enjoyed what you've listened to today, please do comment below in the comments bar. Or, you know, what you could do is just get in touch with either myself or Helen and just say what you thought of it. Guys, always please do keep it kind and keep it clean. The next thing as well, if this has resonated with you, you know, if you've really, really felt something and you want this to impact someone else in your life, please press that share button and get this podcast out there so other people can experience what you just have, either on Facebook or on whatever social media platform you'd like. Also, if you do feel like you have a voice and you'd like to help me in my almost impossible mission to interview 100 people during the COVID-19 lockdown of 2020, please do get in touch either via my Facebook page, which is ABC Gym, or just comment below and I'll be in touch. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you soon. Thanks again, Helen.
Thanks.